times we go, like my little sister's in slow pitch.
Oh yeah.
And all the like games that she plays, it's all like small towns, and they have the most rickiest thing.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to game number 12 of the Under-23 Canadian Men's Championships. This game will be contested between the visiting Harwood Corners, Ontario number 1, and Nova Scotia Selects. Here's your lineup for the Harwood Corners. Leading off, batting first, the right fielder, number 13, Dan Scott. Batting second, left fielder, number 17, Ty Franklin. Batting third, the designated player, number 22, Will Schlotzauer. Batting fourth, playing second base, number 70, Colton Quip. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 8, Chad Brown. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 10, Aaron Law. Batting seventh, third baseman, number 1, Felix Eiser-Bender. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 68, Blair Bender. Batting ninth, center fielder, number 57, Colby Ricketts. Not batting but pitching, number 16, Dale Schweier. Lineup for the home team, Nova Scotia Selects. Batting first, center fielder, number 2, Nick White. Batting second, third baseman, number 12, Alex Melanson. Batting third, number 7, designated player, Brody Fraser. Batting fourth, left fielder, number 94, Braden Woodworth. Batting fifth, playing shortstop, number 4, Nathan Peters. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 25, Cam Weatherby. Batting seventh,
Well, welcome everybody to Game 12 at the 2024 Under-23 Men's Softball Canada Canadian Championship. Game 12 features the Nova Scotia Selects and Harwood Corners, who are Ontario 1 in this event. Nova Scotia's record coming into this game is a surprising no wins and 3 losses. They have a very good team, but they haven't managed to get a win yet. Some very close games. I believe their losses so far were by 1 run, and 2 runs. So 3 very close games. Still looking for their first win of the event. Their opponent, Harwood Corners, they're 1 win and 2 losses. They're just coming off a win about an hour ago. They defeated Shallow Lake Sting, another Ontario team, 7-3. So our lineups for each team. Nova Scotia is the home team. Their defensive alignment is Nick Need is pitching. He's the flex player. Caleb Eisner is catching. Evan Tilley is at first. Tyler Payne is playing second base. Alex Melanson's playing third. Nathan Peters is at short. Braden Woodworth is in left. Nick White in center. And Cam Weatherby is in right. Harwood Corners batting alignment. Starting off the game, Danny Scott, the right fielder. He'll be followed by Ty Franklin, who's playing left. Will Schlotzauer, who's the designated player. Colton Quip, who's playing second. Chad Brown, who's on first. Aaron Waugh, who's catching. Felix Eiser-Bender, who's playing third. Blair Bender, who's at short. Colby Ricketts, who's in center. And Dale Schweier is the flex player, not batting, listed as today's starting pitcher. So Danny Scott's going to get things going. Bernie, back here for another game.
Back here for another game. Sorry, I slipped in a little late there.
Did you introduce yourself?
I did not. I'm Adam Brown. I'm here helping out with Softball Canada, and been a great event so far. 11 games down. Actually, I guess 10 and a half. There's the game 11's currently underway between Wyerton and I'm not sure who Wyerton's playing on that other diamond right now. But yeah, we're so far so good. Things are running well, and teams are giving us some good entertainment.
Great, and I'm Bernie Burnett with Kitchener Fastball Promotions, and we're here bringing you the 2024 U23 Men's Canadian Fast Pitch Championship. What game number are we?
We're game 12.
Game 12.
Yeah. So Nick Need has 2 strikes on Danny Scott, the leadoff batter. Nick and Danny would have played together at the Team Canada representative club that went down to Mexico in the fall. They were both on that team. Nick is actually from British Columbia, and he's one of the added-on out-of-province players for this Nova Scotia team, and Danny is an Ontario player. So it's still 0-2 after that foul ball. First batter of the game at the top of the first inning. It's taken for ball 1. Need threw a really good game last night. That swung on and missed for strike 3. Need threw very well last night in a losing cause for Nova Scotia. He was a hard luck loser in a 2-1 game that ended the night against the Wyerton Red Devils.
Got a great grounds crew here, and the batters come in and obliterate the batter box in the first 2 batters.
It'll never change. Second up for Harwood. The top of the first is Ty Franklin. Ty takes ball 1. That's ball 2, down and away. According to our game changer stats that we have here, Ty's batting .375 so far in the event after 3 games. So far so good for Tyler Franklin. It's taken for a strike, so it's 2-1. That's in there for called strike 2. So 2-2 to Franklin with 1 out in the top of the first. That's grounded back to Need, who throws it over to first base for the out. That's 2 down.
So, Adam, is there a rule about obliterating the batter's box?
There actually is a rule about obliterating the batter's box.
There's nothing left of the right-hand bat box.
The batters are allowed to groom it to get a nice even ground, but they're it's at the discretion of the official. There can be a ball assigned to a batter, I believe, if they obliterate the batter's box. And the ump's not happy about it, but here we go. Will Schlotzauer now at bat for Harwood. Will is listed as the designated player. He did pitch in Harwood Corners previous game. He pitched an inning in relief in their 7-3 win. Good pitcher, good stick, all around really good player for Harwood Corners. That's lined to the left center gap, picked up by White, fielded cleanly, thrown in, and that's a single with 2 out for Will Schlotzauer. Colton Quip now coming in. Colton's on the lineup card as the second baseman. 3 games so far for Colton. He's hitting .273, so looking to bring that average up this at bat. Need delivers. In the outside corner for strike 1. Nova Scotia in their blue jerseys, the same color as the Nova Scotia flag, and Harwood Corners wearing their pinstripe uniforms. Need fires. And that's down the third base line. That's a fair ball deep into left field. Schlotzauer's coming into third. He'll be safe, and Colton Quip is on second with a double. So a 2-out rally here early for Harwood Corners, as they have men on second and third with 2 out. Chad Brown coming to the plate. Brown's playing first base in this game. He can also pitch. He's an option for Harwood Corners to use as a pitcher. He's pitched 2 innings so far for Harwood in this event. He's also hitting .571, Bernie, which is pretty good in my book. He's having a good tournament at the plate so far. Takes ball 1 inside. Brown is a lefty, so useful at first base and as a pitcher coming from that left side. Nick Need sets, delivers. It's down and away for ball 2. Eisner, the catcher, blocked that to prevent the runner on third, Will Schlotzauer, from coming in. Eisner was hurt in last night's game. I think he might have got spiked, Bernie, on that play at the plate against Wyerton, but he's back out playing.
Yeah,
so.
he had some wrist damage there. He came back into the game, and
Catchers generally are a pretty tough breed of softball player, so perhaps no surprise for the Nova Scotia fans back home that know Caleb Eisner. So 2-1 on Chad Brown, no relation. He's looking to change the score here with a single or other type of hit to put Harwood Corners on the board. That's up and in for ball 3. 3-1 to Brown. With Need. The first 2 outs rather handily, but a little more difficult now. So it looks like Eisner's going to go out and maybe discuss signs or some sort of strategy with Need.
they've been pitching carefully. They got an open base at first.
Yeah. So with recent rule changes, you're allowed 1 of those a game if it's not about signs. If it's just a conference, a defensive conference, defensive delay like that, you're allowed 1 of those an inning. If you take an extra one, it's an automatic ball on the batter. So 3-1. Need delivers. That's well struck by Brown. It's over the head of the left fielder. 2-run score, and Chad Brown is into the
double.
Ground rule double. It bounced over the fence, Bernie. I was blocked out there.
Yep.
So that was well over the Woodworth's head and left. Bounced over the fence. The temporary fences here that are approximately 250 feet. And that's a ground rule double for Brown and 2 RBIs. So he continues his hot hitting here for Harwood Corners. So that puts the Corners up 2-0 here in the top of the first.
That take his average to 600?
I would say darn close. So Aaron Waugh, the catcher's coming to the plate. Aaron's a very good stick. He's not having a great tournament so far, but I predict that that's going to change. Aaron's a very good batter. Fouls that off for... Oh, he fouled it? Yeah, he fouled it off for strike 1.
You have catcher's interference there?
I don't think so.
Oh, no,
I think it was just a foul ball. So 1 strike on Wah. 2 out. Chad Brown on second base. It's down and away for ball 1. 1-1 to Aaron. Not sure if Aaron's grandpa, Gary Wah's, listening. If you're listening, Gary, g'day. I hope you're doing well. Gary's the past president of the Ontario Amateur Softball Association and spent a lot of time in the volunteer ranks when it comes to softball in Ontario. That bounces off the screen, a favorable bounce, but Brown is still able to take third on that wild pitch. So 2-1 count now to Wah. Good start here for Harwood Corners. First 2 batters went out, but a single, then 2 consecutive doubles have made the score 2-0. Needs pitch is swung on and missed to even the count at 2-2. Two and 2 pitch delivered, swung on and missed. So that's strike 3. That ends the inning, the half inning. The Nova Scotia Selects gave up 2 runs on 3 hits and 1 man left on base. So your score is Harwood Corners 2, Nova Scotia coming to bat.
So, Adam, the weather report for Peter Holman Ball-Yard is hot, humid, and sticky.
It's quite a humid day.
Doesn't look like much change. Each team plays two games per day, but all of them will be on their second game now, so they will be trying to stay cool as however they can.
So for Harwood Corners, defensively, Dale Schweier, the big lefty from the Haldimand area, has the ball. His catcher is Aaron Wah. Chad Brown playing first base. Colton Quip at 2. Felix Isaac Bender is at third base. Blair Bender is at short. Ty Franklin's in left. Colby Ricketts is in center. And Danny Scott is in right. Nova Scotia batting lineup is Nick White leading off. Alex Melanson's hitting 2. Brody Fraser is in the 3-hole. Braden Woodworth is hitting cleanup. Nathan Peters hitting 5. Cam Weatherby 6. Evan Tilley 7. Tyler Payne at 8. Caleb Eisner hitting 9. Nick Need is the flex player, so he's not hitting this game.
You're tuning in for the first time. Nick White was our home run derby champion on the opening night, Tuesday night, hitting 5 home runs in a short period of time, just narrowly edging out Derek Erb from Tavistock Merchants.
So White comes to the plate, speedy center fielder. Watches strike 1 from Schweier, the lefty. Dale. That's well struck to right field. It looks like Danny Scott does not have a play on that ball, and that is the second pitch that Nick White sees. He drives over the fence for a solo home run, proving that perhaps a home run contest victory is no fluke, Bernie. He really got all of that one. So that halves the lead right there. 2 pitches in to 2-1. Alex Melanson now at the dish. First pitch is fouled down the left field line, just wide of the bag.
have a pretty good view from up here, but down the left field lines, a little iffy.
A little bit obstructed. We'll make do, Bernie. Checking that swing. Third base umpire says no, so that's ball one. We're using the 3 official system for almost every game here in the round robin. I think there was talk of a couple games might go to 2, what with the heat and so on, to give the officials a bit of a break. That's swung on and missed. Strike 2, 1 and 2. I've been told by the umpire in chief that's here, Daryl Helmer from Alberta, that they will be using 4 officials for Championship Sunday. That's well hit, but it's foul. Officials from all across the country here representing various provinces, and they got to make it here as well, just like the teams do. So 1 and 2, Schweier's pitch, a little off speed. That's popped up. Looks like Bender at short will take that for the first out of the inning. So with 1 out, that brings up Brody Fraser. Brody's also a pitcher. He's the designated player in this game, but he certainly is one of the main players on the team in that he pitches, hits very well. Key member for sure. His dad, Jeff, is coaching third base here for Nova Scotia. Schweier's pitch. It's fouled off. Evening the count at 1-1. Schweier's. That gets the outside corner for strike 2. So 1 and 2 on Brody Fraser. That's swung on and missed for strike 3. So that's 2 out. First strikeout of the game for Schweier. It's Braden Woodworth now at the plate. Nova Scotia down 2-1. He hits it right directly back to Schweier, who jogs halfway to first and tosses it over to Chad Brown, another lefty, and that's it for Nova Scotia. They scored 1 run on a solo shot by Nick White. The current score is Harwood Corners 2, Nova Scotia Selects 1.
So Adam, you talked about the umpires, a 2-man system, 3-man system, 4-man system. Is any of those systems better, or?
Well, it's a typical system in a regular tournament or league game would generally be 2 officials. This level at a national championship, they do use 3. One of the advantages of having a 3 official system is on check swings, you'll have a couple of umpires down the line. They have a better view of that check swing. You have a better view for the leadoff on first base, that the base ump can concentrate on that while the other partner may concentrate on other things. Certainly helps. They rotate throughout when there's close plays so that there's always somebody at the next base to make sure that there's no missed calls. So I know a lot of officials, a couple in my area up near Ottawa, that were assigned to national championships. They actually did some games and did them for free, essentially, as the third official, so that they could practice at that 3 official system, seeing as our league generally only uses 2. 4 official system, that's entering into MLB territory there, Bernie, where they use 4 officials and each official has their base. And I've never officiated softball, and for that, probably every softball league is thankful, but they I don't think they have to rotate as much because they're essentially assigned a base. So,
well, I do know from coaching basketball that those are different systems, and
Yeah.
you have different focuses. Some of the things are the same, but
yeah. So leading off for Harwood Corners in the top of the second inning, it's Felix Eisert-Bender. He looks to slap. We talked about that last night, Bernie, how the slap bunt is a lost art, but
we keep seeing it now.
yeah, Felix giving it a try. Hitting from the left side, speedy kid. It's a good option if you can make it work. So Need sets, delivers. That's in there for strike 2. Harwood Corners scoring 2 runs on 3 hits in the top of the first to take an early lead. Needs next pitch. That's fouled off by Eisert-Bender. Battling, trying to get a piece, stay alive in this at-bat. Need had 12 strikeouts last night in 7 innings, so certainly very familiar with the strikeout option as an out. Needs 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for the first out of the inning. So next up is Blair Bender. Be looking to get a base runner here for Harwood Corners. First pitch is up and away for ball 1. Need leans back, delivers a pitch. That evades Eisner's glove. Ball 2. Second game for each team today. I'm sure after this game, a couple of sweaty matches, they'll be ready for a nice cold Pepsi in the beer tent, Bernie. It's called strike 1. That's now 2-1 on Blair Bender. Needs next pitch. Swung on and missed. Now 2-2 to Bender. And that swung on and missed for the second strikeout of the inning. That's the 4th for Need so far in this game. So there's 2 out now. Bringing up the 9-hitter, Colby Ricketts. Fouled straight back by Ricketts. Bounces in for ball 1. Need sets, fires, and that's lined over the shortstop's head into left field. Woodworth picks it up, throws it in. So once again with 2 outs, Harwood Corners gets a hit. That happened in the first inning where first 2 players went out and they got 3 consecutive hits to score 2 runs. So I'm sure Coach Doug Wolfe is looking for that to happen once again in this game. So a single for Colby Ricketts, which is always what you want out of the 9-hole to bring the top of the order up, and Danny Scott to the plate. So Need, first pitch to his Team Canada teammate from the fall, is fouled off for strike 1. Danny Scott's name might be familiar to fast pitch fans. His dad, Donnie Scott, former Team Canada pitcher and great thrower from the southwestern Ontario region.
And he's pitched for the Holman Twins.
He pitched for Holman Twins, yeah. He's Sebringville, a bunch of different teams. So Danny fouls that off. Danny's actually in the U20 age group. He's a player that's added on to the lineup as you're permitted to do. So his home club is the Rostock Braves at the U20 level, and his dad's one of the coaches of that team, and they'll be playing at the Under-20 Canadian Championships in a couple weeks as well. So a busy August for Danny. The hit and run looked to be on there. He punches that out to right field, takes a dirty bounce, and Ricketts scores. So we'll call that a single with an error for Danny. Manages to drive in a run. Once again, with 2 outs, Harwood Corners is making things happen. So good coaching there by Harwood Corners. Like I said, looked like Doug Wolfe had the hit and run on. It worked well, and now it's 3-1 in favor of Harwood Corners. Ty Franklin's at the plate. Ty hit a comebacker to Need in the first inning, grounded out. Need appears to be concentrating here on something. So Ty Franklin, not just a good ball player, Bernie. Ty Franklin was the Ontario Amateur Softball Scholarship recipient, recognizing his academic abilities back in, I think, 2021. So good for Ty, athlete and knowledgeable fella. That's outside for ball 1.
Nice to have awards like that, recognizing the educational aspect of life as well.
Absolutely. I'd encourage anybody listening who plays Ontario Amateur Softball Association at the U20 or U23 level to apply for the scholarship program. And Need's next pitch, swung on and missed by Franklin. Danny Scott on second base, who drove in the run this inning. Ty Franklin looking to perhaps trade places with him to extend the lead to 4-1. Fouls that straight back. 1-2 count on Ty. Need's next pitch, swung on and missed, and that ends the inning. Need got 3 strikeouts that inning, but he also allowed 2 hits and a run. So after an inning and a half complete, it's Harwood Corners. Inning half complete. After an inning and a half, it's Harwood Corners 3, and the Nova Scotia Selects 1.
So it is hot and warm here, and I was talking to Brad Thompson the other day, and he related one of his coaching stories where he lost a coin flip for all 5 games. So when they came into the 5th game and it was a scorcher, he begged the other team to switch uniforms so they could play with their clean uniforms finally. We are on Conestoga College TV, CCD TV. We really appreciate the Conestoga crew coming in and doing the live streaming for us. Bruno's put everything together, and it's been absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, they've done a great job with being able to bring these games to folks who are unable to get to the park, whether they're in Nova Scotia or other parts, and able to still follow along with a great video stream. We do encourage people to come down to the park if they're in the area, though. Nothing beats live fast pitch softball, cold refreshing beverages, and excellent homemade pie.
There may be a few viewers that are close by in air conditioning that are
This is true.
not coming down.
So starting off the bottom of the second inning, Nova Scotia's shortstop, Nathan Peters, is at bat. Dale Schweier in the circle, a little off speed there to open things up. Swinging strike at Peters. Schweier, another off speed pitch in for strike two. Schweier. Down and away, ball one. Scoreboard says 2 balls and 1 strike, but I think we're 1 ball and 2 strikes, I believe. Schweier's next pitch, drilled back at him. Once again, he jogs over towards Chad Brown and underhands it to him for the first out of the inning. So Dale Schweier, he's a student of can pitch instructor George Ryder. So George, I don't know if you're listening, but Dale's looking good. One of George's proteges. George, a excellent pitcher in his own right back in the day, and past president of the Ontario Amateur Softball Association, and continues to give back to the game by helping young athletes develop their skills. So shout out to George. First pitch to Weatherby, Cam Weatherby, the next batter for Nova Scotia, swung on and missed. Second pitch, swung on and missed. Schweier seems to be dialed in here. First batter of the game, Nick White, always a dangerous threat for Nova Scotia, hit a solo bomb, but since then it's been 4 consecutive outs for Schweier. Inside nibble there is called ball one. Schweier's next pitch, fouled straight back off the screen, so it's still 1-2. Schweier swung on and missed. Second strikeout of the game for Dale Schweier. That's 2 outs now. Nova Scotia's first baseman, Evan Tilley, comes to the plate. It's down in the zone for ball one. Next pitch by Schweier. In there for strike one. 1-1 count. Harwood corners up early, 3-1. Here in the bottom of the second inning. That misses. Now 2-1. Dale Schweier, lefty pitcher, delivers, and that's fouled off by Tilley. So 2-2 now to Tilley. Next offering. Drilled off himself in the batter's box, and because he was in the box, that's a foul ball. I saw one earlier this tournament, Bernie. There, I believe it was Andrew Van Bokel from Tavistock, bunted one up the first base line, and it bounced off him when he was out of the box, and he was called out. You don't see that too often. It was just bad luck, but that is the call on a fair ball outside the batter's box. That is down Main Street. Tilly must have been thinking off speed there. Did not pull the trigger on it, and he's rung up on strikes. So 2 straight strikeouts for Dale Schweier. And that ends the second inning with the Harwood Corners up 3-1 over the Nova Scotia Selects.
Over the last few broadcasts we did, Adam, we talked about what it takes to put on a tournament like this, all the people involved, organizations involved, and so throughout, in between innings, we'll talk about some of that. So some of our local financial supporters are Hallman Construction, McCarter Grispan Lawyers, MTE Consultants, and MHPC, Planning, Urban Design, and Landscape Architecture. Donate a nice financial contribution that helps cover the cost of the tournament and is an important part of helping to bring these tournaments to the Kitchener-Waterloo area.
Takes a lot of volunteers to make an event like this happen, Bernie, and Softball Canada certainly recognizes the effort that Kitchener Fastball Promotions has put in and will continue to put in, well, with the events also happening next year here at Peter Hallman Ball-Yard.
Yes, in 2025 we have the towards the end of August into the long weekend of September, we have the U23s back, plus the Canadian Senior Men's and Canadian Masters Championships.
Got to be 40 to play in the Masters, so I'm well into that age group. I'm available for any teams looking for a light-hitting left fielder with below-average speed. Good in the room, though. Real good in the room. So Nick Need, back in the circle for Nova Scotia, delivers his first pitch to Will Schlotzauer. That's strike one on Schlotzauer. Schlotzauer.
You're interested in Adam, I'm his agent, so you can go through me.
Yeah, go through Bernie. 10%. So Schlotzauer, he's not unfamiliar with national championships. He fouls off that off-speed pitch. Schlotzauer led his Tavistock U20 team to the U20 Men's National Championship gold medal back in 2022, and that event was held in Napanee. So he played last year as well at the U23 National Championship and helped Harwood Corners finish with the bronze medal in Saskatoon, and here he is back with Harwood this year, looking maybe to upgrade that bronze medal to something a little shinier. So he fouls off another pitch. It's still 0-2 to Schlotzauer, he is, as I mentioned earlier, he does pitch, and he's a very good pitcher, but he's the designated player today because he's also a very good hitter. So Need looking to get the first out of this third inning. Schlotzauer fouls that off, so he's battling here, fouling off pitches till he gets one he likes. According to Game Changer, Schlotzauer's batting average coming into this game was .545, so he's having a good turning at the plate so far, and shows his quick hands there by just getting a piece of that to ensure that he doesn't get rung up on strikes. Got a score report from the second diamond from my on-the-scene reporter up there, and he let us know that the score is Delisle Pride from Saskatchewan 4, Wyerton Red Devils 3 in the sixth inning. So Nick Need, little off speed. Schlotzauer keeps the hands back and shows why he's one of the top hitters here as he singles to Cam Weatherby out in right field. So Schlotzauer's on with his second single of the game to lead things off for Harwood Corners here in the top of the third inning. So Colton Quip's at the plate. Colton Quip hit a double the last time he was up. I'm sure he'll be looking to do more of the same here. He shows bunt, drops a beautiful bunt, fielded by Melanson. He throws it over. The second baseman on the cover there, Tyler Payne, for a sac bunt. If you're scorekeeping at home, that's a 5-4 putout, advancing Schlotzauer to second base. So Chad Brown, who doubled the last time and drove in a couple of runs, here with another opportunity to change the score for Harwood Corners. Nick Need delivers. It's in tight for ball one. Schlotzauer getting a good jump off second base there. Eisner had a little bit of trouble last night catching for Need. I would imagine, given that Nick is from British Columbia and Caleb is from Nova Scotia, that was most likely the first time they were a pitching catching battery, and they seem to get crossed up a couple of times, but so far so good this afternoon. So that's called strike on Chad Brown. Discussing a little bit with the umpire there where exactly that pitch was. Need leans, delivers. That's outside for ball two. So 2-1. So 6 hits into the third inning. That's more hits than Nick allowed in 7 innings last night. I believe he only allowed 4 in that entire game. So Harwood Corners maybe has a little more intel on how to get hits off Nick Need, one of the top pitchers in the country in the 2005 birth year. So that's ball 3. 3-1 now to Chad Brown. Harwood's up 3-1 early in this one. There are lots of ball left. Only the top of the third. Needs pitch. Swung on and missed. So now a full count to Chad Brown. Need leans back, delivers. That's fisted to shortstop, thrown over. Make the play, Tilley with the squeeze. Nice play there by Nathan Peters to ensure that Schlotzauer doesn't advance and to get Chad Brown out, put out 6-3. So that's 2 outs now in the top of the third, and Aaron Waugh, the Harwood Corners catcher, at the plate. So Need gave up 2 in the first, 1 in the second, looking to get out of this inning without giving up a run, but he has to get by Aaron Waugh first. Need sets and delivers. That escapes Eisner's glove and allows Schlotzauer to advance to third. Just evaded the grip of Eisner and allowed Schlotzauer to move up 60 feet, getting himself closer to home. So 1-0 on Waugh. Drills it off his ankle. Foul ball, strike 1. Needs 1-1 pitch to Waugh. Fly ball that just goes off the roof of the Nova Scotia dugout for strike 2, so it's 1-2. Two outs in the top of the third. Harwood Corners up 3-1 They've got a runner on third base, and there's 2 out. Aaron Waugh at the plate looking to change the score. Nick Mead leans, delivers, and that is a called strike 3 on Waugh. So that ends the threat. Nick Mead gets out of it without giving up a run this time. There was 1 hit, 1 left on, but no runs across for Harwood Corners in the top of the third.
One of the things we've talked about is as fastball players get older and move on to different things, they become coaches and fathers of players and so on and so forth, but they also give back financially. And a couple supporters of this tournament are the Skelton family, who are well known in the fastball world in this area and throughout Ontario. And Jody Ite, who played for the Hallman Twins, and his family supports us through his business, Ace Home and Garden, located in Mitchell, Exeter, and Arthur. And again, these financial contributions are very important in helping us to deliver this level of tournament.
So coming to bat for Nova Scotia Selects in the bottom of the third with them down 3-1. Be Tyler Payne leading things off. Tyler Payne is, as many of the players here today, several of them, he was a member of the Nova Scotia Provincial Canada Games team at the 2022 Canada Games in Niagara, where Nova Scotia had a really good showing. Payne shows bunt, pulls it back. Aaron Waugh discussing with the umpire and asks him to check with his partner at third base. He says no swing, so it's ball 1. Might as well check, cost you nothing to check. Ask nicely to the official and they'll usually check for you. That's fouled straight back for strike 2.
I think them bunting while they're running is very difficult to decide whether they went for the ball or not.
It is. That catches the corner for strike 2. So 1-2 to Tyler Payne. Swung on and missed for strikeout. 7 straight outs now for Schweier, 3 in a row by strikeout. So with 1 out, that brings up Caleb Eisner, the catcher. Another fella who was on that Niagara Canada Summer Games team back in 2022. First pitch from Dale Schweier must have just missed. That's ball 1. Schweier leans and delivers. It's fouled straight back for strike 1. Schweier's next delivery. Foul bunt. Strike 2. I guess the Nova Scotia group just trying to get something going, looking for ways to get base runners on. And if you're the 9 hitter that hits in front of the leadoff hitter, Nick White, it is definitely your job to get on base, because Nick White is a threat to hit a homer, a gapper, leg out an infield single, or all of the above. So you need to get on base if you're the 9 hitter on this Nova Scotia team. That's fouled straight back by Eisner. Schweier thinking about that one. Next pitch to Eisner. Swung on and missed, and that's the 4th consecutive strikeout for Schweier. And the 2nd out of the inning. Bringing us to the top for Nick White. So Nick White has scored the only run of the game for the Nova Scotia Selects, a solo home run on the 2nd pitch of the game, 2nd pitch that he saw that went deep into right center field. So he'll be looking to try and get on base again to get Nova Scotia started off. And he smashes one. It's back. It's just not quite as far back as the previous one. Nice catch there by Colby Ricketts, who falls through the collapsible fence. That's a 250-foot fence. I would say that was about a 249-foot, 6-inch fly ball, Bernie. Is that correct in Imperial? Imperial
Exactly.
Yeah. So a long fly out by Nick White ends the inning. So after 3 complete, we've got Harwood Corners with 3, the Nova Scotia Selects with 1 run.
I think Adam may have mentioned this, but the flexible fence is set up inside the regular fence here, which is kind of set up for softball, and the distance is 250 feet. Peter Holman Bolyard has been here for some time, named after Peter Holman, who was a strong community supporter, strong supporter of fastball, coach, player, financial supporter, who unfortunately passed away in 1999 in a tragic motorcycle accident up north. And he has been honored in the city in many ways, and this was one of them. They named this ballpark after him. It's probably one of the premier, well, we think it is the premier ballpark in Ontario and possibly in Canada. 3 diamonds, and it's settled nicely off of Cortland Avenue, down to the south end of Kitchener. One of the benefits we found out last night, Adam, was that the lights can stay on all night.
You got no neighbors to bug you. That's convenient.
So we went, much to the chagrin of Conestoga College television, we went a little late into the night last night.
Nice to be able to finish those games late without any sort of municipal bylaw or intervention or complaint.
For sure.
So here at the top of the 4th, we got 7, 8, 9 in the Harwood Corners order. Felix Eisert-Bender is the leadoff batter, the 3rd baseman for Harwood Corners. Speedy Bender struck out in his first plate appearance here in this game. Just misses that one, fouls it back off the roof here, Bernie. We'll be just fine. Strike 1.
Maybe one of the negatives of Peter Holman Bolyard is the when the balls go over the screen, which is pretty tall, they have the option of going up on the roof here and getting caught on the rail at the edge of the eaves, or up on the train tracks, or over in the storage company. And so there's lots of retrieval necessary.
Yes. And at about $100 a dozen, softballs are not cheap. Though Rawlings is a great sponsor of Softball Canada, and I think may give us a bit of a deal. But retail, $100 a dozen nowadays for a K-Master, box of K-Masters, which are the premier fast pitch softball here in Canada for men's ball. So it's 1-1 to Felix Eisert-Bender. That misses for ball 2. Getting a report from the other diamond. The final score up the hill. Delisle Pride from Saskatchewan 5. Wyerton Red Devils 3. Owen Cox was the winning pitcher. Owen, who's actually lives in Alberta. Oh, that appeared to hit Eisert-Bender, and I guess it did. He'll take first base after being hit by the pitch. Brings up Blair Bender. Nobody out. Well, looks like Coach Jeff Fraser is going to question whether that actually hit him or not, or perhaps whether maybe he thought that Eisert-Bender arm was over the strike zone, perhaps, and it shouldn't be called a ball. Or, sorry, it shouldn't be a hit batsman playing. Anyways, while they're Coach Fraser and the home plate ump are discussing, Owen Cox is an out-of-province player, Alberta resident, playing for Saskatchewan, lefty pitcher. 2004 birth year, so actually has U20 eligibility left. That last name might be familiar to Ontario, actually, I guess across Canada, softball fans. His dad is Frank Cox, I believe from the Owen Sound area, who was a very good pitcher in his own right back in the day. So congrats to Owen. That's his second good pitching appearance here at the U23 men's. He pitched in a losing effort for Saskatchewan earlier, but pitched a strong game. So with Isaac Bender on first, with nobody out, Blair Bender, the shortstop's at the dish. With Need, maybe looking to get a ground into a double play. He shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's a called strike. The Nova Scotia defense certainly preparing for a bunt in tight. Need leans, fires. Bender pops that straight up. Melanson, the third baseman's all over that. There looked like three potential players that could have caught that, but Melanson catches that foul pop to get one out.
Some good communication there.
So Colby Ricketts comes to the dish with one out and a man on first. Ricketts is the 9-hitter, but he smashed a single in his first plate appearance in the second inning and ended up scoring the third Harwood Corners run. He also made that great catch crashing through the fence to end the third inning for the third out of the third inning. So that misses. Ball one. Said one out here. Need takes the signal from Eisner. Leans back, pauses, delivers, swung on and missed. Ricketts looking to keep things going here. One out. Top of the fourth. Harwood Corners up 3-1. Needs next pitch. Hold. No swing there. 2 balls and 1 strike to Colby Ricketts. It's in tight. Ball 3. Top of the fourth inning here. That's a walk to Ricketts. Put men on first and second. Top of the fourth, as mentioned, 3-1 for Harwood Corners. Bringing the dangerous Danny Scott to the plate. Coach Jeff Fraser out to speak with Need here. Maybe looking to change as Fraser takes the ball from Need's glove. So he'll be replaced by the designated player, Brody Fraser. Jeff's son coming in to pitch, Coach Jeff's son. So the way that works in fast pitch softball, he started out with a 10-man lineup in which Brody Fraser was the designated player who hit for Nick Need, who is pitching in the flex. And now they do what's called suspending the flex, so they no longer have a defensive-only player, as the designated player, Brody Fraser, is playing both offensively and defensively, commonly referred to as going down to 9. So Fraser's coming in to throw here. He's inheriting 2 base runners. He's got 1 out. And with the third time through the order, Coach Jeff Fraser's decided to bring in a new pitcher to give a different look. So a little further information on the game up the hill, as mentioned. Delisle Pride beat the Wyerton Red Devils 5-3. The losing pitchers on that were both Mac Mulvey and Dakota McComb pitched for Wyerton, and from my reports, both pitched well in a losing cause. But that puts Wyerton at a 1-2 record, and I believe Saskatchewan, I have to consult my program here, Saskatchewan would be 3-1 now after that win. They beat Harwood Corners 11-5. They lost 8-7 to Tavistock. They beat Nova Scotia 4-2 earlier this morning, and now they just won 5-3.
I'm assuming before I got here, Adam, that you reported on the Tavistock Newfoundland game.
Yeah, it was a great game. The very close. The defending champions Tavistock Merchants against the the Newfoundland and Labrador entry, the Mariners, the Murno Mariners. The Mariners got off to an early 3-0 lead. Tavistock came back, take a 4-3 lead, but Newfoundland and Labrador ended up winning that game 5-4 in a very well-played, tight match between two teams who had not lost previously on day one.
Nice.
So Danny Scott here is at the plate. There's one out. There's men on first and second. His team's up 3-1 here. At the top of the fourth, they do the fake bunt steal. Scott shows bunt, pulls it back. Both base runners advance 60 feet on a crafty play by Harwood Corners. So two in scoring position for the hard-hitting Danny Scott. As mentioned, Brody Fraser now into pitch. The Nova Scotia defense in tight to make sure that a slow rolling ground ball can be fielded and the play at the plate be made to erase a runner from scoring. That ball misses. It's now 1-1. Fraser leans and fires. That's chopped foul by Scott. So that's 1-2 now on Danny Scott. One-two pitch to Scott. That's soft liner over to Peters at short. Scott's erased. So there's now two out. Two on in scoring position for Ty Franklin. So Fraser looking to stop further scoring from happening to keep Nova Scotia within contention here. Fraser's pitch. That misses for ball one. One and 0 pitch. Off speed there. Fools Franklin for strike one. Izard Bender, who's on third, he was hit by a pitch. Colby Ricketts walked. That's when Nova Scotia made the pitching change to bring in Fraser. He's got one out. He's looking to get two. That's fouled off by Franklin. 1-2 count here. Nova Scotia looking to get their first win. I'm sure they're really trying to get a win here in day two and not, they wouldn't want to go in winless into third day of competition here at the Peter Homan Ball Yard for the 2024 Under-23 Men's Softball Canada Canadian Championship. So 2-2 count with 2 outs to Franklin. Watches that pitch. Eisner was pretty sure that was a strike as he was coming up, getting ready to throw down to third and get to the hut. But that's deemed ball 3. So it's full now on Franklin. Will Schlotzauer follows Franklin, a very good stick, so Fraser's going to want to get through this and not load up the bases. Next pitch, smacked by Franklin, but it's easily going to well, it went back farther than one might have thought, but Nick White settles under to get the third out of the inning. So with that fly out, Fraser gets out of the inning. There weren't any hits in that one for Harwood Corners, but they did leave 2 men on. After 3.5 innings, it's Harwood Corners 3, the Nova Scotia Selects 1.
So Adam, a big part of getting the event underway is getting the information out there so people know about it. And we have a very good community that put the word out for us. Mike Farwell, who has the 570 News Radio Talk Show, led our emceed our home run derby on Tuesday evening, and also came back on Wednesday evening for our opening ceremonies and did a really nice job. Should mention that Kirk Lockenbauer, who is my co-chair for this tournament, sang the national anthem and did really well. Kirk's a member of the male Schneider Chorus, and there was in the past, and has a really good voice.
Yeah, you did an excellent job, Bernie. A really, really good job of singing the anthem. And
that's called an in-kind donation, I think.
Yeah, no, it was a great job.
Yes, he did great.
It's
thanks to Mike Farwell. And then locally also we have 519 Sports Online. Darren Stevenson used to be with CKCO TV, has his own online sports news page, however that works technologically, and he helps spread the word as well.
So coming up here in the bottom of the 4th for the Nova Scotia Selects, the third baseman Alex Melanson's going to lead things off. He popped up to short last time. He shows bunt and fouls it off. He showed bunt last time too. Likes the small ball. Dale Schweier is still in the circle for Harwood Corners. After giving up that solo shot to Nick White to start the game, he's retired the next 9 consecutive batters that he's faced. So he's rolling along pretty good here. That's in there for strike 2. So he's up 0-2 early on Melanson. Schweier leans, delivers. A little off speed. Just gets a piece of that, does Melanson, to foul that off to stay alive. Strike 3. Melanson goes down on strikes. So that's first out. The bottom of the 4th. Brody Fraser, who just came in to pitch, now hitting. So he was the designated player, as mentioned, hitting for Nick Need, and now he's in the game as pitcher and, of course, retains his spot in the hitting lineup. Fraser, who's a long ball hitter, shows bunt there and fouls it back. Mentioned, I would imagine his dad and coach is probably encouraging the Nova Scotia team to put some balls in play to get some base runners to get something going here, because they've been retired 10 times consecutively since that leadoff homer. That's fouled off down the first base line for strike 2. Schweier's next pitch, called strike 3 on the inside corner. Another strikeout for Schweier, so that's 2 down now for Nova Scotia in the bottom of the 4th. Braden Woodworth now at bat. He grounded out directly back to Schweier the last time he was at the plate. Schweier's first offering is slashed foul off the roof of the Harwood dugout. Most spectators here, Bernie, they're either under an umbrella or some piece of shade that they can find. Very sunny, warm conditions here.
There's a few out in the open. They're going to be baked by the end of the day.
I would say. That misses for ball one.
You mentioned the umpires are out there quite a bit, so that's it's going to be interesting as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, there's only 7 of them here. 7 teams, 7 umpires. That misses for ball 2. A lot of games for each official. As mentioned earlier, it's a big deal for an official to get selected for any national championship.
They come from all over the country.
They do. Guys from Manitoba, Nova Scotia, British Columbia, Quebec, and Ontario. So 2-1 to Woodworth. That's swung on and missed for strike 2. Schweier cruising along here. Throwing well. Leans and fires. Woodworth gets a piece of that to stay alive in the at-bat. Schweier pitches. It's hit over to short, and Bender makes the play. A good stretch from Chad Brown for the 6-3 putout to end the threat. So that is 12 consecutive outs now for Schweier. And after 4 innings complete, it's Harwood Corners 3, the Nova Scotia Selects 1.
Certainly many fastball fans will be familiar with Al's fastball page, Facebook page. Al Doran has been putting fastball news out there for quite a while and still going strong. And so we thank Al for following our tournament and promoting our tournament. Also, a couple radio stations up north. Fred Wallace out of Owen Sound is a good supporter of all our tournaments. And Steve Sabrin out of Wingham. And we thank them for promoting our tournaments as well.
It's always good to have local media to help promote. Make sure people are aware of what's going on. The opportunity to watch some great fast pitch softball here in Kitchener. So heading into the top of the 5th, we've got 3, 4, 5 in the Harwood Corners order. That's Schlotzauer, Quip, and Brown. The pitching line for Nick Need, if those of you perhaps back in BC are interested, he pitched 3 1/3. He allowed 3 runs, all earned, 6 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit batter before yielding, and 6 strikeouts before yielding to Brody Fraser, who has come on in relief here. He came in on relief in the top of the 4th, and now back in the circle for the 5th inning. So Will Schlotzauer, who's 2 for 2, and based on, I'd have to do some high-powered math, which I am not prepared to do, Bernie, but I would estimate he is hitting at around a 600 clip based on his previous 3 games, adding this game in.
That's pretty amazing.
So, Fraser versus Schlotzauer here. Schlotzauer checks. Ball 1. Really, for Nova Scotia, as far as I'm aware, I'm sure someone else could also pitch, but that's in for strike 1. They really only are going to, I think, be using Nick Need and Brody Fraser. I'm sure they have someone else who could pitch if necessary, but I believe that's really the two that the selects will rely on for the bulk of the work here at the U23 National Championship in Kitchener. That's taken for strike 2. Whereas Harwood Corners uses much more of a committee approach to pitching. They've got Schlotzauer here at the plate who can pitch. They got Dale Schweier, who's in the circle today. They got Sean Desmarais, who started the previous game this morning. That's taken for ball 2. Big, tall righty, 2006 birth year, so he's got a lot of U23 ball left to play if he continues playing. And they also have Chad Brown who can pitch, so they have a committee of pitchers over there at Hardwood Corners. That's outside for ball 3, so that's a full count now to Schlotzauer, who's looking to get on base for the 3rd consecutive time in this game. The full count pitch swung on and missed. Fraser's first strikeout. 1 down now in the top of the 5th inning. So Colton Quip here at bat. He doubled and scored a run in the 1st inning. He laid down a nice sac bunt in the 3rd. So this is his 3rd plate appearance and first look at Fraser. That's hit hard to center, but I believe Nick White had to move 2 steps to make that catch. And he could probably move 22 steps quite easily to make a catch. He's quite fleet of foot out there, so that's an easy put out for the 2nd out of the top of the 5th inning. So Chad Brown now here. Chad doubled and drove in 2 runs in the 1st inning, and he lined out to, grounded out to short in the 2nd. So 2 outs now for Harwood Corners here in the top of the 5th. Fraser leans, fires. It's called strike 1. Fraser delivers. That's out of the zone for ball 1. Fraser also plays senior men's fast pitch. He was in Carp, Ontario a couple of weeks ago for the Carp shootout with the East Hants Mastodons from Nova Scotia, and he was also here at the Kitchener Peter Hallman Memorial with East Hants. So spending a lot of time in Ontario lately is Brody. So that's called strike 2, so it's 1-2 now to Chad Brown with 2 out in the top of the 5th, and Harwood up 3-1. Fraser, 1-2 pitch, swung on and just fouled, and Eisner couldn't get the handle on that one. It's a tough play for him, so count remains 1-2. Fraser's pitch just got a piece of that, did Chad Brown, to foul it off and to stay alive. Looks like a pinch hitter on deck here for Harwood Corners. Chad Brown gets on base. We may see a new batter for the Corners. And that gets the outside corner. Strike 3 to end the inning. So no runs, no hits. Nobody reached base, and Brody Fraser struck out 2. After 4.5 innings, it's Harwood Corners 3, the Nova Scotia Selects 1.
So Kitchener Fastball Promotions. Our goal is to bring quality fastball to the area, and we have an annual tournament, the Peter Hallman Memorial Fastball Tournament, that Adam alluded to. that took place last weekend, and Toronto Batmen were the champions this year. Tavistock Merchants U23 term team also participated and used it as a warm-up for this tournament. And I think we've already mentioned, but it's worth repeating, that in 2025, next year, we will be hosting, in addition to our Peter Hallman Memorial Tournament. We're not quite sure when that's going to be or who the teams are going to be, but end of August into September, we'll be hosting the 2025 U23s once again. And because of the way the World Championships fall, we'll also be hosting the Canadian Senior Men's and Senior and the Masters Men's Championships here at Peter Hallman Ball Yard. So put that in your calendar, and information will be out when we have it.
So starting off things here in the bottom of the fifth for Nova Scotia is the shortstop, Nathan Peters. He's been busy enough over at short, a couple of nice plays. He grounded out his last time right back to Schweier. That's hit sharply for the second hit of the game for Nova Scotia by Peters. Center fielder Ricketts was on that quickly. So that's the first hit since the first inning for Nova Scotia. They had been retired 12 consecutive batters up until that moment. So Peters reaching first with nobody out, bringing up right fielder Cam Weatherby. See if Weatherby is instructed to bunt or whether he's swinging away. He's swinging away. Good jump by Peters, but not actually stealing. That's right up the middle. Nice play by Schweier to get the lead runner. They try for the double play, but it's not in time. So Schweier throws out Peters at second base, 1-6, but Weatherby reaches on the fielder's choice. So there's one out and a man again on first base. So Evan Tilley, the first baseman, now at the plate for Nova Scotia. Previous at bat, Tilley was one of Schweier's 7 strikeout victims in today's game. That's taken for ball 1. Tilley swings and misses. 1-1. Schweier's next pitch. Bunted. Nice bunt. Stays fair. Wad. Oh, just escapes the glove of Quip. He hustles, but it looks like play at the plate, and he is safe. So he scores on the error. A nice bunt. Cleanly fielded by Wah, but eluded the Quip at second base. So it's now 3-2.
Good throw. Just went through his glove.
Yeah, it was an excellent throw. I'm not sure. It honestly looked like it went right through his glove.
Yeah,
I guess
it
maybe he closed too quickly. I'm not sure, but
not sure how the runner on first didn't get down to second, but
yeah. So Tilley gets on base on the error. Harwood's only up by 1 run now. And it looks like we have a pinch hitter here for Nova Scotia. As Coach Fraser reports the change to our plate umpire. Riley McKinnon is in to hit, replacing Tyler Payne.
recognize this switch.
I believe they did this last time we were together.
It's the one I spent a half an inning on trying to figure out. So Adam went to look for his keys.
So there's still only one out. There's still only one out with the error. McKinnon in to pinch hit in the bottom of the 5th inning. Schweier down Main Street for strike 1. Next pitch. Up a little bit out of the zone for ball one. Schweier leans and fires. That's swung on and missed by McKinnon. The pickoff attempt, close, but he's safe back at first. Tilly got a little bit off the bag, and Waugh showed his good arm once again by almost picking him off. Schweier's next pitch. Nibbling outside, that's ball. Schweier needs to tie his shoe. So Schweier only given up 2 hits, but he's also given up 2 runs. That's a swung on and missed by McKinnon. Schweier's 8th strikeout of the game. It's 2 out. And Caleb Eisner, the catcher, coming in. He struck out last time in his previous plate appearance in the 3rd. So Schweier swung on and missed by Eisner. The first pitch from Schweier. That bunted down the third base line. Nice play by Isaac Bender. The scoop, not in time to get the runner.
Nobody covering third.
And some great base running there by Evan Tilley, recognizing that nobody had covered third base. So now we got runners on the corners. There's 2 out. And we got the top of the shop here with Nick White at the plate. So we'll put that in the book as a bunt single. He did beat it out. They're going to bring in Payne and the 2-out catcher. So Payne re-enters the game. McKinnon is now burned. He pinch hit. Payne, who is in the starting lineup, re-entered as you're permitted to do. And in to run in the replacement runner rule for catcher Caleb Eisner with 2 out. So Harwood has elected to intentionally walk Nick White, which is not a bad move for someone with his abilities when you have 2 out in a tight game. So it's 3-2. The bases are loaded.
A lot of respect when you have a runner on first and you're
Yeah,
sending
there
him in.
is indeed. So that brings up Alex Melanson to the plate, and he'll be looking to do some damage here after the intentional walk to load the bases. That's there for strike 1. Nick White, who not only plays under 23 here for Nova Scotia, he plays the senior men's side of things. He's a member of Hill United, one of the top teams in the North America when it comes to club fast pitch softball. That's swung on for strike 2. So down 0-2, Melanson trying to make it hurt with the intentional walk. We'll see who's right. Was Harwood right with the intentional walk? 0-2 pitch. That is blasted out to left field. Foul. Just foul. Well struck softball by Alex Melanson. Runners on the move, obviously, with 2 out. If that dropped with the speedy White on first, you're probably scoring 3. Melanson down 0-2 in the count. Schweier just misses. It's now 1-2. Bases loaded here. Pivotal part of the game in the bottom of the 5th. 3-2, 1-run game. 2 outs. Schweier's pitch. Bounces it outside. A great block by Waugh to keep it in front to prevent the runner on third. Evan Tilley from getting near home plate. So that's 2-2. Schweier takes the sign from Waugh. Leans and fires. Swung on and missed. Huge strikeout for Dale Schweier to get out of the inning as he marches off the field. Looks like the strategy paid off to intentionally walk Nick White. Big strikeout there for Harwood Corners. So now they're up 1. 3 for Harwood Corners, 2 for Nova Scotia Selects. We got ourselves a game here at the end of 5 innings.
In order to put on a tournament of this caliber, you have to have a lot of support, but you also have to make a successful bid. And once you have made a successful bid, have the support of Softball Canada in helping to put it all together. And Softball Canada officials have been awesome. Adam Brown's one of them, but there's quite a few here today. And we really appreciate them coming down and supporting what we do.
Definitely don't get put forward a successful tournament without a lot of volunteers, and Kitchener's blessed to have many of them, so great to see. So 1-run game here going into the top of the 6th. Brody Fraser in the circle for Nova Scotia. He relieved Nick Need, who started. Wyerton scored 2 in the first and 1 in the second and hasn't scored since. Looks like they're putting in a pinch hitter here. If I had my program, I'd be able to tell you who it is. So we've got...
Thanks, Brooks.
So we've got Chris Morgan in to pinch hit here for Aaron Waugh. Coach Doug Wolfe giving Morgan a chance to take a hack here. I would think that Aaron Waugh would stay in the game catching. He's a very good defensive catcher, but we'll see that when we get into the bottom of the 6th inning, whether that's the case or not. So Morgan to lead things off here. So, Chris Morgan to lead things off for Harwood Corners. Fraser's first pitch, down and away for ball 1. Fraser's next pitch. Swung on and missed by Morgan. Strike 1. Fraser's outside the zone with that pitch. 2-1 now to Morgan, the pinch hitter here in the top of the 6th inning for Harwood Corners. Bats have been quiet, relatively speaking, for Harwood since the 2nd. Only got 1 hit since then. That's fouled off for strike 2. Fraser's next pitch, nubbed down to the first base line. Tilley shoves it over. Nice cover there by Payne. And Morgan's out 4-3 on the grounder, or sorry, 3-4 on the grounder. So with 1 out, that brings up Felix Eisert-Bender. Felix, a speedy third baseman. Threat to bunt. Corners creeping in a little bit just in case. He watches strike 1 on the inside corner. Eisert-Bender swings. It's a little flare to left field. Unable to get there is Woodworth. So that's a base hit, a single. Their first since the 3rd inning. as Isaac Bender reaches on that offhanded smash. So Blair Bender is being pinch hit for now. He was due up next, but Spencer Baird's coming in to hit for him. So there's one out and there's one on for Harwood Corners. Here in the top of the sixth, they lead 3-2 over the Nova Scotia Selects. It's in there for strike one. ON1. Isaac Bender's on the move, and he is caught stealing. A nice throw by Eisner throws him out. So now the bases are clear with that great throw by Eisner. So now two out. Baird fouls that off. Harwood Corners deciding to test the arm of Eisner, and he showed, despite that injury that he had last night, he's still fully capable of throwing out base runners. Fraser leans and fires. Swung on and missed for strike three. Fraser's third strikeout. So despite the single, it's 3 up, 3 down for Harwood Corners in the top of the sixth. They're up 3-2. Nova Scotia coming to bat with their 3, 4, 5 batters.
So we finish today with 2 more games yet. So at 6:15 tonight on this same channel, or you can come live down to the park, is Shallow Lake against Tavistock Merchants, followed at 8:15 by the Wyerton Red Devils and Newfoundland Murno NL Mariners. On Friday, we have a full slate of 7 games. It finishes out the round robin, and games start at 11:30. Go right through to 8:15, and then Saturday we're down to 6 teams, and they play down to the final 4. And on Sunday we have the championship game, and then the third, fourth place game happening on Sunday. Third, fourth place game takes place at 11 o'clock, and our championship game is at 1:30. All down at Peter Hallman Ball-Yard. Or you can catch it live here on Conestoga College Live TV.
So with Harwood Corners looking to hold on to a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the sixth, we've got Brody Fraser at the plate. He started the game as the designated player, but since came in to pitch. Looks like both Bender and Waugh have re-entered the game despite being pinch hit for in the sixth. That's lifted foul back over the clubhouse here. Schweier's pitch, little soft foul. Isaac Bender's unable to get to it, so Fraser still alive. Schweier's next pitch. Swung foul. Just got a piece of that again to stay alive in this at-bat. That misses for ball 2. Nova Scotia be looking to take the lead here in the bottom of the 6th and put pressure on Harwood Corners in the top of the 7th, but Harwood is in a 3-2 lead position. Schweier pitching well. I haven't seen anyone up in the Harwood Corners bullpen. That's grounded. Nice play there by Quip to make the out. So that's 1 out on the ground out to second base. Braden Woodworth at the plate now, trying to get something going here for Scotia. A couple of ground outs in his previous 2 plate appearances today. That's lifted gently to Quip over at second. And just like that, Harwood Corners has 2 out in the bottom of the 6th after that soft pop up to second base. So Nathan Peters, the shortstop for Nova Scotia, coming up. He's 1 for 2 with a single in his previous at-bat. Schweier delivers. That's strike 1. It's down in the dirt for ball 1. .543 here in Kitchener, and it's not cooling off whatsoever. That's fouled back for strike 2.
You're calling for feel like 38 today.
I'd believe
I
it.
think it's about there.
Appears to be a bit of a softball shortage here that has to be addressed.
They're all on the track.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, Bernie, it's a bit of a ball monster here with foul balls that go over the screen into the railroad tracks or over the clubhouse or behind the grandstand can certainly disappear. Little conference here, both defensively and offensively. Looks like both the offense and the defense will be charged with a conference. So 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Peters has 2 hits, right?
He's got 1 hit and a ground out. Schweier's next pitch. Swung on and missed. A great grab there by Aaron Waugh to make the squeeze to get the out. 1, 2, 3 they went down, Nova Scotia did, in the bottom of the 6th inning, bringing Harwood up in the top of the 7th, nursing a 3-2 lead. They'll be looking to pad that a little bit to give themselves some breathing room going into the bottom of the 7th.
Been a good game.
Yeah, well played game.
Well played game, very close.
Yep, that 1 error on the bunt resulted in a run, and other than that, very cleanly played game.
And just talking about other organizations involved in our tournament, down the first baseline, target for a lot of right-handed hitters is the beer tent run by the Lions Club. They've been pretty faithful supporters of our tournament, and the proceeds also help out their club. So it's sort of a mutual beneficial arrangement. Works well. And then the Village Caterer along with refreshments. We need to supply food for people here. And Village Caterers has been our go-to food truck for quite a while, and they provide the food for the team members and for the fans and everybody. They do a great job.
All right, so the lineup here for Harwood in the top of the 7th, it's 9-1-2 in their order. Colby Ricketts, who is 1 for 1 with a walk, scored one of the 3 runs for Harwood Corners. He'll start things off, followed by Danny Scott and Ty Franklin. So Harwood coming into this game with a 1-win, 2-loss record. Nova Scotia, in my estimation, surprisingly winless in 3. Obviously looking to get their first win here on a sweaty Thursday in Kitchener. So Ricketts digs in. Fraser toes up. Let's start the 7th. Fraser's first pitch, a little bit off speed, taken for ball 1. One and 0 to Ricketts. That catches the outside corner for strike 1. Since coming in the 4th inning, Fraser's only allowed 1 hit, and that player was subsequently caught stealing. So he's faced the minimum numbers of batters since he came in, which is 8. Another strike, so 1 and 2 now to Colby Ricketts. Fraser fires. Fouled off by Ricketts. Just got a piece of that to stay alive, and it's at bat. See the Tavistock players walking in for their subsequent game here following this. Defending champions who lost to Newfoundland and Labrador earlier today for their first loss of the event. That's ball is fielded by Payne. And Ricketts is out 4-3 for the first out of the 7th. So Danny Scott here now up top of the order with his second look at Brody Fraser. He lined out to short the last time he faced Fraser, and he got a hit earlier in the game off Nick Need, the starter for Nova Scotia. So Scott looks at that. First pitch, called strike 1. Tavistock faces the Ontario 3 team, the Shadow Lake Sting, at the conclusion of this. Swung on and missed by Danny Scott, now down 0-2. This game's moved along at a fairly good clip here. Relatively low scoring, well played game. One out here in the top of the 7th. 2 strikes on Danny Scott. He lets that ball go by for ball 1. Brody Fraser pitching to Danny Scott. Swung on and missed by Danny Scott for the second out of the inning. That's Fraser's 4th K since coming in relief. So 2 out and Ty Franklin's at the plate. He's 0 for 3, a ground out, a strikeout, and a fly out. Harwood here clinging to a 3-2 lead. They were up 3-1 after 2. Nova Scotia scored an ugly one in the 5th to make it 3-2. And Nova Scotia will have last chance at bat as the home team. That's looked at for strike 1. In case you're wondering how home teams are determined in this event, it's a very sophisticated method. It's flipping a toonie at the coaches' meeting and having the teams call heads or tails.
Did you return that toonie to Brad?
I certainly did return that toonie to Brad
Just
Thompson.
checking.
Yeah. Wouldn't want him to be down $2. That's looked at for strike 2. Brad Thompson, a volunteer here with Kitchener Fastball Promotions, also involved in ISC softball with the Northeast Drillers, and was a good pitcher in his own right back in the day. Board member of the Ontario Amateur Softball Association. Brad puts a lot of time into softball. That misses. Ball 1. Franklin looking to extend the inning. Takes ball 2 up high.
The Ron and Sean show has just pulled in, and I'll be bringing the next game to you. And Adam and I will be back for the final game tonight. Ron and Sean are covering the Shallow Lake versus Tavistock Merchant game. Adam and I have Wyerton versus Newfoundland.
So the 2-2 pitch with 2 out here in the top of the 7th from Fraser. It's knocked back to Fraser. Fumbled it a little bit, but got the handle on it. Threw it over to Tilley at first for the out. So that's Fraser doing his job as a relief pitcher. Since he came in with 1 out in the 4th inning, he's faced the minimum of 11 batters. So coming into the bottom of the 7th, Nova Scotia's going to look to get their first win. They've got Cam Weatherby, Evan Tilley, and Tyler Payne due up in the bottom of the 7th. Dale Schweier looks like he's going to go the distance here for Harwood. And why wouldn't he? He's only given up 3 hits in 6 innings of work.
Got a couple clouds coming in. They're not rain clouds, and the sun, when the sun goes behind the clouds here, it's really refreshing.
Yeah.
Drops the temperature about 5 degrees from 38 to 33.
Much welcomed.
But as the night, as dusk settles in, it tends to get a little bit cooler here, and it actually becomes pretty nice for ball games.
So Cam Weatherby coming up here. Bottom of the 7th for Nova Scotia Selects. Down a run. Schweier doing his routine where he looks out to center field before he starts pitching. Noticed he's done that several times here. A little visualization perhaps. First pitch to Weatherby. Ball 1. That's fouled back by Weatherby. He thought, shaking his head a little bit there, he thought he had a good beat on that one, but it didn't quite work out that way. Fouled off for strike 1. Schweier's only given up 3 hits. He struck out 10. Only one of those 2 runs that he's allowed was earned. A leadoff solo shot by Nick White, Nova Scotia's first batter in the 1st inning. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Weatherby. Schweier delivers. Skips by Aaron Waugh, the catcher. Ball looks like it might be a little shiny. There's a non-zero chance that that's a brand new softball. And I've never pitched, but I'm pretty aware that no pitcher wants a brand new shiny softball in the 7th inning. That is not preferred. Schweier doing his best to rough it up a little. Oh, here comes it. Yeah, here comes another one that's probably a little bit more suitable for play. So Schweier will welcome that softball.
I know what I'm doing tonight. Roughing up a few balls.
So 2-1 to Weatherby, and Schweier pitches that swung on hard by Weatherby and missed, evening the count at 2-2. Oh, did he swing? He's running. He must have thought he swung. Great play by Aaron Waugh to get it down to to first base, to Chad Brown for the out. So that's a strikeout with a 2-3 put out for the first out of the 7th inning. Evan Tilley now at the plate. He struck out in his first appearance. Second time he sack bunted and reached on an error when the sack bunt was misplayed. That's when Weatherby came around to score the second run of the game. He pops that up, but it's back and over the screen. So no play for catcher Aaron Waugh on that. Don't want that ball back because now I would imagine Schweier's got the shiny one in his hand. His dad, Mark, maybe will run out of the dugout and go find that for his boy. I'm not sure.
Check and see if it's stuck on the roof.
It's down in the dirt. Here comes it. Yeah, here comes. That's actually, I believe that's umpiring supervisor Steve Gallagher that went and chased that ball. So good
boy, Steve.
Good work by Steve. He's more than just an official evaluator. He's also a ball retriever.
We started this game with 11 balls.
And we're down to 1 and a brand new one. So 1-1 now to Evan Tilley. He fists that just past the outstretched glove of Blair Bender at short. He's going for 2, and he makes it. Bender got a piece of that ball, which actually slowed it down and made it difficult for Ty Franklin to field it cleanly. So great effort there by Bender. But being unable to knock it down results in a 1-out double for Evan Tilley. So that puts the winning run at home plate. Tyler Payne, who was pinch hit for in the 5th, gets a chance back in to hit. He chops one to second base. Quip's got to make a good play. Big stretch from Brown. Big turn by Tilley, but he's back to third base. So nice play by Quip to make the out at first. Caleb Eisner, the catcher, looking to tie this game. Man on third, 2 out. His team down a run in the bottom of the 7th. Eisner had a single in his previous at-bat. So he'll be looking to replicate that or more to get Nova Scotia a chance to get their first win here at the 2024 Under-23 Men's National Championship. He swings and hits one deep to left. Franklin's chasing. And a great catch in center field by Colby Ricketts. It looked directly in between Ricketts and Franklin. A great catch by Ricketts. And that ends the ball game.
So close.
Final score, Harwood Corners 3, Nova Scotia Selects 2. Your winning pitcher going the distance all 7 innings is Dale Schweier. Dale had 11 strikeouts, only allowed 2 runs, one of which was earned, and only 3 hits. He didn't have a single walk except for an intentional base on balls to Nick White, which worked out quite well as he got the next player out. Your losing pitcher is Nick Need. He went 3 1/3 innings. In relief of Nick Need was Brody Fraser, who threw quite well. He faced the minimum amount of batters he could, which was 11. So that wraps that up. Harwood Corners now evens their record. They had started the day 0-2, but would have won 2 today to even their record at 2 wins and 2 losses. And Nova Scotia drops to no wins and 4 losses. As Bernie explained earlier, there are 7 teams here at this event. The 7th place team is eliminated from playoff Saturday, so Nova Scotia is going to be looking to win a couple of games tomorrow to make sure that they're not that eliminated team. So that's it from this one. Again, your final score, Harwood Corners 3, Nova Scotia Selects 2.
Thank you, Adam. You and I will be back at 8:15 with Wyerton and Newfoundland. And coming to you shortly is the Ron and Sean Show, and they'll be covering off Shallow Lake versus Tavistock Merchants.